Hey there, you're listening to Your Life is Awesome, brought to you by Enjoy Toys, featuring true life stories about sex told by audience members at Smut Slams around the world. Smut Slam is a growing network of dirty storytelling shows founded in 2011 by me, Cameron Moore. We do our best to keep Smut Slam safe, but safe doesn't mean G-rated. Some of these stories are explicit as fuck. If you're not into that, now is a good time to get out. Otherwise, enjoy the show.
Your life is awesome! Your life is awesome!
Hello, and welcome to Your Life is Awesome, a podcast featuring stories from Smut Slam, which is a sex-positive community storytelling show that happens all over the world. My name is Cameron. I'm your host for this podcast and in a lot of other live Smut Slams all over Europe. But for now, I'm feeling really good just sitting still. It's summer break. I hope you're enjoying your time off if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. If you're not, you're having winter time, hey, stay cozy down there in Australia. So I want to just let you know what's happening here in today's episode by telling you this is one of the wilder themes that I have come up with. Usually I try to pick themes that are have some concrete sort of specific applications, like, okay, the last podcast we did was Splish Splash. So it felt really obvious where we were going with that. But for this episode, which was recorded in Berlin in July 2024, the theme was, what's your sign? I really was kind of just, I don't know, I was thinking like cheesy pickup lines and astrology charts and messages from the other planes of existence. I wasn't sure what was going to happen there, but boy, howdy, people fucking delivered. They delivered. So it's a very charmed sort of slam that you're about to listen to. Again, Berlin, we have our outdoor shows during the summer, so it's not always like, there's always like background noise and the wind rustling through the trees and maybe thump, thump, thump of apples dropping later in the year. But it's great because we have fairy lights on and everyone's wearing their best fucking sundresses, blazing hot, very summery, and super, super chill. So I hope you get that vibe when you're listening today. And if you're sitting there going, Cameron, what's your sign? Wow, that is cheesy. We're always looking for more theme suggestions. So if you have some themes to propose, by all means, drop us a line. We would love to hear it. If you can't do any better, then just sit down and shut up and listen in. It's going to be amazing. So between these stories that we gathered for this episode, of course, we have fuck buckets, which are anonymous questions and confessions coming from the audience. Those always surprise me. Those always delight me, and I hope they will delight you too, and maybe even give you a little bit of an educational sense in your own head, not in a boring way, but in a very exciting and cool, chill way. I always learn something new. I swear to God, every fucking time. So just get yourself a nice fucking cool drink, light a candle, keep it chill, babe. This is What's Your Sign theme from Berlin. Yeah, we'll see you on the other side, baby.
My partner's a scientist. She's a really good scientist. But the thing is, like, we were talking about, like, great inventions and things. And, like, one of the things that revolutionized, like, the world was the invention of, like, antibiotics, like penicillin. Like, that saved so many babies' lives. So many lives of women from infection during delivery and directly after delivery. And people say home births. Like, I remember when, my partner and I were talking about things and like the dangers of a hospital and the dangers of, of a home birth. And penicillin, that was the main game changer in the last, sort of 100 years. So continuing that back into sort of smut slam mood. Yeah. So basically, sex is great. Yeah. And it's fun. But, sometimes, there are certain things that, can hamper, you sort of like, there are various things that a partner does. And I suffer sometimes from sinusitis. So sometimes my nose is so blocked and my sinuses are so blocked that I would like to sort of pleasure my partner, but it's more like I can't breathe. I need to choose. Am I using my mouth to breathe, or am I using my mouth to, give pleasure? And then asphyxiation isn't their kink. So I'm like, they're like, no, this won't do. You can't breathe. I'm like, no, but I'll be okay. Like, no, you can't breathe. So I'm like, okay, this is like, there must be something I can do, because since I'm a teenager, I get sinusitis. That's my thing. Some people get strep. Some people, have other things. I get a cold or an allergy. 2 weeks later, I'm suffering with sinusitis. Then I miss a few days of school or a few days of work. Basically stopped drinking, milk products when I was 19. Got a bit better. But I'm like, every time it gets blocked, then they give you a nose spray. You spray your nose, but the sinuses are blocked. So the nose spray doesn't get into the sinuses. So basically you need to unclog your sinuses, which are the problem with the nose spray, and only then will you be able to go down on your partner. And they can't wait for you to get better. They're like, oh, not sinusitis again. Can you take an allergy pill? But I didn't know they had a cat. And they're like, oh, yeah, Same old story. So I'm like, okay, so there must be something greater than this. So then basically she's like, there were 2 inventions in the last sort of 100 years that are just unbelievable. They're mind-blowing. One was the invention of penicillin. The other one is a vibrator that sucks. The sucking vibrator. And I'm like, wait a moment. I don't know that much about it, but I'm learning. And then I'm like, wait a moment. Some people, when they're having sex, they think about all kinds of random things. I don't know, some people think about an ex, some hot person that fantasies, whatever. So I'm going down thinking, I've got to get my sinuses sorted. I'm like, okay, it's a liquid of basically some sort of a liquid. There must be some frequency that can move what's stuck in here and free me from this agony. Wait a moment. So sometimes it goes like, nah, that one doesn't work. No, I'm not sure if this one's going to work. Then we I'm feeling it. Like, aha, I will find the frequency with one of her sex toys and we will kill 2 birds in one go. I will free my sinuses forever because I will know how to vibrate the fuck out of it. And by the way, if you want to know, basically, there are many different brands, many different things, but if you find the right vibration for your sinuses, it works. So, we're on 4 minutes. So what I will say is, not only does it work, but if you find the right frequency, which is a sympathetic vibration, basically because it's a sine wave. So basically the vibration vibrates with a sine. And if you get the right sine wave for the viscosity of your sinuses, and the kind of how clogged it is, you will feel like when you pop your ears and you go, and it opens, you will feel a pressure change in your sinuses, and it opens, and then you can drain your sinuses. And I think that was probably one of the last times I took antibiotics, and I'm always going to have the right type of vibrator. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm assuming there hasn't been any medical trials on this one.
We can only say some people may use this product for.
Yeah, or for novelty.
May relieve sinus.
So for legal reasons, we have to say, that's not medical advice.
Not yet.
Not yet, but it could be. You heard it here first. Jesus Christ, you're all so nerdy. Fucking yes. Oh, Lord, have mercy. I want to get tattooed while having sex. Unless you also combine being restrained. I feel like it's just going to be like fucking Picasso all over your leg, like it was supposed to be a bird. What's this? Oh, wow. Okay. Always more ways to do it.
My story is about the synthesizer mystic. But this is not a name that I dreamed up for this theme. This is how I first heard of him when I invited my friend for dinner and she said, "Can my friend the synthesizer mystic come?" And so the synthesizer mystic came to the dinner party at my house and he was expressing his Libra stellium in the form of fine manners, a love of beautiful things, and good looks that would make him at home in a Botticelli painting. He was very camp and very hot. And the conversation that night was very stimulating. The synthesizer mystic had compelling arguments about why science is just the myth of our time. And he had incredible experiences and perspectives on the nature of reality. And a couple of days later, the synthesizer mystic invited me to accompany him to an exhibition of alchemical artifacts that was on at the Gamelda Gallery. And amidst a statue of Asclepios and scrolls of occult illustrations, we got to know each other. He told me that he had been a practicing astrologer for some years. He told me that a lot of his occult knowledge had come from weekly video nights with a group of other mystic misfits in the 90s, until the leader of the group stole his girlfriend. After the alchemy exhibition, we went back to my house and we convened with a green spirit plant. And he gave me Reiki and he gave me a foot massage and we made love. And it was magical. It was mythical. We were Venus and Mars. We were Venus and Venus. We were Uranus, the sky god, and Gaia. And we were a cult leader and an innocent boy or girl from the suburbs. We had been making love for lifetimes, forever. Our connection was incredible, which is just as well. Well, it's just as well we've been making love for lifetimes because he needed to go back to his palace in Montreal the next day. And when I remembered that he lived in a place called a palace, my Google searches came back and I remembered a hot pink plush bedspread. And in the last days when I've been thinking about this experience, the horde of fantasies has washed over me. The things that I imagined we did on that bedspread, the love we made, the cunnilingus he performed. Alas, that was all in my imagination. It was fantasies. We would meet only one more time in the sacred space of Skype. Alas, our love was too profound for this superficial world. It was too great for this timeline. And what's more, he has Venus in Scorpio, which explains the intense and wonderful sex. But he's also very keen to commit. He might be a bit possessive. He also might be a bit secretive. And I have Venus in Gemini, which I express by being a floozy The sort of floozy who likes to tell funny stories about their sexual experiences. Thank you so much for listening and for your attention. I very much appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A floozy. You're all floozies. That's hilarious. Okay, I get the profound connection. I'm not mocking the profound connection, but the fact that his alchemy society broke up because someone had a boyfriend-girlfriend spat is hilarious to me. You cannot escape fucking entropy of everything. It's just, wow. Okay. Oh no, oh what? Oh, I see, okay. When I started masturbating back then, I used lip gloss, and then it goes on to thingies. It's not lip gloss they use, but lip gloss containers. I was like, lip gloss, no, okay. It's the opposite of slick. Okay, when I started masturbating back then, I used lip gloss thingies, or my favorite was my hairbrush handle. It had a very good size. Why not use my hands? I don't know. If it worked, it worked.
I knew someone who was getting married, and it was a bachelorette party that was taking place. And I'm in my car on the way to the party, but I'm late, and I get a phone call from my friend, who's the guy who invited me there, and he's like, "Hey, you gotta get here, you gotta get here." And I'm like, "Okay, you know, what's happening?" And he's like, "Oh," he's telling me some story about some gals who've been hired to entertain, and they're doing cool sex tricks or whatever. And I'm like, "All right, cool." I'm not gonna drive any faster though, because getting pulled over would suck. So, you know, I'm driving, I arrive, and it's a mansion, and there's people there who I know, and they got a pool, and it's, you know, it's kind of like this thing. I know these people, and I know that they're all wonderful freaks and weirdos. People are in the pool. So I take off all my clothes, hop into the sauna, greeting people, you know, yada, yada. So later, at this thing that we all know is going to turn into an orgy, yeah. I meet someone, and we're talking by the pool. You know, we're just kind of standing there, nude, talking for a while. And then it becomes apparent that, you know, we're probably going to hook up because I have an erection and they don't run. Yeah. So we hop into the water, and then we do this floaty fucky thing, which make some noise if you've done the floaty fucky. Yeah. No hands, yoga, legs, floaty fucky thing. It was great. After that, somehow, you know, we managed to meet each other again and go to the driveway where we bang on the hood of somebody's car. A PT Cruiser, if it matters. Yeah, same person. Wonderful, wonderful evening. It's all great. Then we decide to, you know, go for the cycle, you know, like round 3. And round 3 is in like the pool room. And the way that the place is designed, it's like, you know, like the pool room is sort of like on the same level as the pool, but like the front door is like on a higher, it's a weird design. So we're in there, we're having our round 3. It's great. A couple people kind of meander in, you know, like, are we going to join? Are we not going to join? It was okay. Now, so this was a wonderful event, you know, and lots of people, you know, hooked up, and it was wonderful, and it was a lovely wedding, and yada yada. Yeah. But the thing that made it like the unwitting exhibitionism like angle, okay, even though we know that we're at an orgy and it's public, you know, like lots of sex happening and people are watching, is that some years later, when I run into some people who were at that party, you know, hey, how you been doing? Yada, yada. And they say, oh, cool, great. Yeah, I haven't seen you since, you know, the bachelorette party. And I go, yeah, right, cool. And then they go, they say something that like they can only know if they were like there, but it was just she and I and a couple other people for a second, and I was like, what? Well, you know, like, what are you talking about? And they say, yeah, like you and Jody were like, you know, hooked up. I'm not really a kiss and tell type person. You and Jody, you know, yeah, you know, you hooked up and you did this and you did that. And I'm like, did she tell you that? And they're like, no. And then I'm like, well, how do you know that? And there's like 60% of the people who were in this bar were there at the bachelor party. It's kind of like a, you know, so I go, how do you know that? And they go, well, we all know. And I'm like, okay, like you all know. And they're like, yeah, we watched. And I'm like, wait, but you watched, like it was cameras, hidden cameras, what? Turns out during this third round, like half an hour, 40 minutes of fucking in the pool room, that there was like some sliding door kind of thing that maybe was like, I don't know if it was like one-way tint or just fogged over just enough, but apparently like everybody, like 25, 30 fucking people stood out with their beers and their drugs and their whatever, and I like watched us fuck each other the whole time, and I didn't know that I put this show on. Jody and we put the show on for all these people. I didn't know for years that all of these people had seen me in action. Not that I mind, because I'm a slut like that. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, I guess the moral of the story is that I should have charged. Because on the car ride there, my friend was talking all this, you know, oh, you got to get here for people who put on the show, and they got paid, and I didn't. So, if anybody wants a show, you know, I got your back. Thank you very much.
I thought that story was going somewhere else. I thought someone had video camera and it was like non-consent filming or anything like that. No, they were just watching behind the fucking sliding doors. Like, yes, kind of. Oh my God. Also, I love that the wedding was like just a detail. And the wedding was great. Okay. When I came to Berlin, I was afraid to take my towel off in the sauna. Now I'm sucking and fucking at sex parties like a pro. Is that normal? In fact, it is. Well done. Du bist Berliner.
So I'm a Libra. All my placements are in Scorpio. And I'm demisexual, so I haven't had many sexual partners. But I remember this time I met a Gemini person, and I had the most freaky sex I've ever had. Like, I don't know. I always like to think that I was born like in the autumn equinox. Do I feel special for that? Yeah. So I don't know. We were like two airy, very curious, very, very curious people. Having like very uncanny ideas. And I remember that we will just have ideas and put them into action. Like, you know, this little thing here in the collarbone, this was the Holy Grail. Everything we would drink from here would give us like a special power. And I'm only gonna tell a couple of things that we did because I'm also like very shy about sharing this. But I remember once we had this idea about having a Cleopatra bath, and we only had a shower. We didn't even have a bathtub. So we didn't want to kind of buy like cow's milk for that because it was kind of squandered. So we would just have like a super lame, cheesy, vegan oat milk Cleopatra bath. And yeah, the water got cut also because we were very broke and we couldn't pay electricity and water. So we were like sticky all day. I don't know. I don't regret it. Zero regrets. I don't fucking regret it. And yeah. This is maybe a bit too freaky, but I also remember that we had a long distance relationship, so we only saw each other like every 2-3 months. So we were like really thirsty for each other. And once we were like, how can I have you like more, like a bit more of you? And we had this brilliant idea of having his cum in a glass and making an omelette with it. And we ate it together, like we cut it in half. He's like, hey, do you feel it? Like, do you feel closer to me? That's pretty much it. I cannot go on.
I mean, call me basic, but I prefer those stories to poetry any day. So, oat milk, no bathtub, just oat milk. I want to take this moment. We're going to have a little educational moment here. I want to remind folks for whom who maybe aren't used to like what all the U.S. words are going to be, or maybe it doesn't matter. Using lame as a derogatory thing is generally not something you should do. All right. So you want to be thinking about like, what do I mean to say? It was silly. I felt silly. I felt kind of like ridiculous or whatever. You find something a little more precise. Lame as a derogatory thing. Yeah. Cool. That's what that is. But also oat milk is pretty fucking silly.
There's a song, I don't know if you heard it, which is 1st of May, outdoor fucking starts today. Yeah, that's that. And me and my friend were listening to that, and we're realizing May's coming along, and we're like, why don't we celebrate the 1st of May? It seems like a good day to celebrate. So we made plans. We were like, okay, no matter what, we're fucking outdoors. We don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but we're going to make it happen. And we pick a spot between us because we live like an hour away from each other, basically, so half an hour down. And we just kind of pick what looks like the middle of the woods. You know, someplace pretty far away from civilization. We're going to be fine. Yeah, we get there, we park our cars, we start walking in. It's not the middle of nowhere. There are a lot of people there, like doing like the normal park stuff, but like it was still a big forest. And so what we do is we get on a hiking trail for as long as we can go, but we're still running into people. So we know we have to get off trail, but we don't know how because there's a river on one side and a forest that's like a huge mountain on the other. And so we eventually, like, we're getting tired. We're like, we should just turn back and find some other place. And we find our sign, which is do not enter, barbed wire, right? And we're just like, should we? And we're like, we're here. Okay, so we go for it. We crawl underneath the barbed wire. We go in there. I'm still like, there's a big part of me that's like, why the barbed wire and why beware? I'm like on the lookout. I'm like, I don't know, what is this, a military base or is this like poison ivy? But we're gonna find out. So we get ourselves a secluded spot. Like we're very secluded. We feel safe. No one's around us. And this isn't a story about somebody finding us. Don't worry about it. We're still isolated this whole time. But there are some things about outdoor fucking that I guess I just wasn't prepared for, right? So like I had this scene in mind. I was like, we put down like our mediocre blanket that wasn't big enough. And I bring out some rope because I have this idea of like tying her to the tree. It's going to be all sexy, right? And it kind of was, but the thing is, if you like, you have to find a stable branch, and these trees are not necessarily like in like full healthy condition. And the other thing is, if you throw a rope around something and you pull on it hard, things come out of the tree, right? And and then there's other things, like we're getting at. It is getting sexy, I push her against the tree. I've tied her up as, is like in a like non like supported by the tree kind of way. And then you have like, there's this other like things, like you normally when you're in a bed, you can just throw your lube everywhere. You can throw your toys anywhere, you can pick them up. But when you do that, it's dirty, right? Like, and I'm just like having to deal with the fact that there's dirt all around us suddenly means that like now like half my toys are gone. And like I can't find the lube and like that kind of thing. So it was really fun. We did like, it was a fun scene. She like had wolf ears on and we were kind of doing this like primal kind of like fun scene against the tree. But like the whole time, like, yeah, there's just a lot of learning through it. And afterwards, we like, you know, just like it was mosquito season. So like days later, while I had a fond memory of this scene, I like had little bumps of regret all over my skin for the week after. But it was a great time. That's my story.
What? I love that impulse in some people to like see a sign saying caution or do not enter or warning, and they're like, should I? No, the sign says don't, all right? How to make sex fun again. I had a serious long-term relationship, been single for 5 years since, and somehow the idea of sex without intimacy doesn't excite me anymore. I had it on and off during the last 5 years. There are two questions happening there. Because it doesn't sound like it's sex being fun again. It sounds like sex without sex. You want sex with intimacy. You could either want sex with intimacy and that works for you, or you want to figure out how to make sex without intimacy fun for you. And I will tell you right now, sometimes you can't force it. All right, it's really understandable, especially in scenes and cities where it's like everyone's having sex, and we talk about it all the time here at Smut Slam. It's really easy to bring that own pressure onto yourself. Like I should want this, right? I should want this. Everyone else is getting it. Everyone else is doing it. Why don't I want this? And it may be that it's not your time. It may be that you really do want that intimacy, and that's okay. I guess if you want to ease back into more kind of casual things, you can go to like club nights. You can get invited to orgies or play spaces and just sit and watch and see how that feels to be on the edges. Like you don't have to dive into every fucking thing. You do not. You can just take your time, soak up the vibe, see if that's the energy that you want in your life right now. I sound like a prude sometimes here at Smut Slam. But that's a real thing. That's a real thing. You don't have to rush into it. You honestly don't. You have nothing to prove, even to your past self. Sometimes people change, and that's not what you want anymore. Anybody have any advice for this person from the house? Wow, okay, all right. Sometimes I get very opinionated social workers in the audience, and it's like, okay.
My birthday is on February 18th, and I have, for many years, never in my life met somebody else with a February 18th birthday. Even growing up, I just knew it was like me and John Travolta. And outside of that, I could never find anybody. In fact, I even went to this one tech conference where like we were doing a thing with databases and there was a room of like 500 people. And somebody got up on stage and was like, we're going to find out how many people in the room have the same birthday. And there was like well over 500 people in that room. And the only person who had a February 18th birthday was me, which blows the birthday paradox out of the water. And if you don't know what that is, it's not worth explaining now. It's sufficiently nerdy, but you can like look it up. So, I'd never met anybody. I come to Berlin and tried Tinder. It wasn't so great. I tried Field. It wasn't so great. But I finally met somebody, and we went out on 1 or 2 dates. And it turned out that we were both Aquariuses. And it not only turned out that we were both Aquariuses, but it turned out that we were both born on February 18th. Both born on February 18th, 1982. And in fact, we were only 17 hours apart when you account for time zones. And so I was very much the younger one in the relationship by a whole 17 hours. And I never really let her forget that she's the older woman. So we go to a burn, I don't know, maybe about a year into our relationship, and we were sitting around the fire talking, just to a random group of people. And there was a guy there who was talking about the fact that he had never met someone else with his birthday. And I was like, well, ain't that some shit? When is your birthday? And he's like, you don't have to do this. We always do this, and it's never the same. And I was like, okay, all right, fine, whatever. So we go like an hour later. I was like, I just gotta know. Come on, just tell me, just please tell me. And he's like, fine. I was born February 18th, 1982. And I was like, you motherfucker, that's so crazy. And then like, I was a little high, so I kind of meandered off, and that was like, I didn't think about it. In the morning, I'm trying to find my way into like the castle house thing, and I walk by the playroom, and there's two people who I'm like, oh, I recognize that moan, and I like peeked my head inside, and my friend who was also born February 18th, 1982, was fucking the other guy who was born February 18th, 1982, and I peeked my head in, and I was like, Aquarians. Can we do this? Because if for nothing else, this is a good story. And they were like, come on in. And I had a February 18th, 1982 threesome. And to this day, I have never met another fucking person with a February 18th, 1982 birthday. But except for the three of us.
I mean, there are worse ways to organize threesomes, right? I don't want to end my situationship because I don't think I'll be able to find someone better. I think you could. Because the fact that you're thinking about ending your situationship suggests that you want to, maybe part of you. I don't think you should stick in something because you can't find something better for you, okay? Okay. First timer here, kind of reluctant when I got the invite, but this has turned out to be so much fun and cool. Amazing.
Oh, yeah, that's the stuff. Yes. I hope you can feel that. Like, I definitely can tell the difference between like stuff that happens in that laid back outdoor space and then like whenever I'm doing stuff in an indoor location. Obviously, the acoustics are different, but you get that kind of outdoor blackberry vines kind of slowly growing in the background. You know what I mean? Anyway, thanks for listening and thanks for joining us today. If you're curious how we create a safer space at our shows, with all these people coming from all different backgrounds and experiences in sex, yeah, it can be a challenge, but we've got a structure for that. You can read our full code of conduct on smutslam.com. Just go there, look on the menu there for code of conduct, and you read all about it. We're very proud of it, and we take a lot of trouble. We take a lot of effort to make sure that these spaces stay as exciting and safe as possible. So I want to give our shout out, of course, to Villa Kuriosum, which is our lovely outdoor location here in Berlin, and all of the people that make the Berlin Smut Slam particularly strong. It is my home slam, after all. I live here in Berlin, and I've been doing slams here. We're coming up on our seventh year here in Berlin, and you can tell, like, we're solid. This team is solid, and I love them so much. So shout out and props to all of the Smutterlings and to Mark and Kit and Lithe and Melly. Thanks for making this my home space so fucking awesome. Do remember to join our Patreon if you want to get early and extended episodes. Right there, you can, just by supporting us. A few euros per month is going to help support us putting out more episodes, and any extra bonus material that we can give you, we will. So you go to patreon.com, look up Your Life is Awesome. That's cool. Now, you can always find out about our upcoming shows around the world at our website, smutslam.com. But I like to poke it in your ear holes a little extra every time I record the podcast episode. So here, listen up. This is what we've got coming up. Now, we are slowly emerging out of summertime, and you can tell by how many shows are coming up. Okay, we just got done with the Berlin Slam, right? In August 19th. We're jumping ahead into September, and bam, it's like fucking back to school. In Boston, we'll be running that on September 3rd. Vancouver, as part of the Vancouver Fringe Festival, Didi Brazier is going to be hosting that on September 5th. We've got Copenhagen, I'm bringing the slam back September 10th. Dee Dee Brazier again on September 10th, but she's in Victoria this time. Oh yeah, Victoria, hold still for it. It's amazing. And then so Dee Dee's traveling a lot here. So she's got Victoria on September 10th, Winnipeg on September 11th. I'm doing Barcelona on September 12th. We've got Berlin, still the last Garden Slam of the season on September 16th, and then Baltimore, September 20th. It's just, somewhere in there we got Amsterdam. I'm still waiting to hear back on the dates. So just it's a ton of stuff going on. It's back to school. The things pick up. All right. So get in there. If you're in the area, go see a live Smut Slam. It's an experience you cannot beat. And if you're not there, well, you're doing the right thing by listening to us. Let your friends know who live in those area. Smut Slam is coming their way. All right. That's it for now. I want to tell you, I've got shows coming up that are not even Smut Slam. I'll be able to tell you about those maybe the next time I drop a podcast episode. But in the meantime, just, stay chill, keep breathing. If you are picking up in your own life, if things are accelerating in your own life, just keep breathing, baby. It's going to be fine. It's going to be good. Keep it together. You got this. We'll see you next time. And remember, your life is awesome. Take care now.
This has been Your Life is Awesome, a story podcast from Smut Slam with Cameron Moore. Produced by me, Mark Seistedt. Music by Sticky Biscuits. A huge thank you to all storytellers featured. All stories are being shared with permission. Thanks also to Enjoy Toys, makers of deluxe stainless steel instruments of pleasure, for continually supporting Smut Slam. Find them at enjoytoys.com. If you want to help us make more of these, plus get access to longer episodes and other bonus material, please join our Patreon at patreon.com/yourlifeisawesome. If that's not in the cards right now, you can also help by rating and reviewing this show. Look for that option in your podcast app. We might read out some reviews on a future episode. Got a question for Cameron? Write or send a voice recording to smutslampodcast@gmail.com. This too might be featured on the podcast. And if you want to find out more about Smut Slam and the code of conduct we use in the shows, go to smutslam.com. All links mentioned can be found in the podcast info. Thanks for listening.